guys? Welcome back to Of Stone and Clay podcast. As far as I know, this is episode 156. I could be misled, but today we have an awesome guest that does so many things. Where do we start? Today we have Ben Kjar. Thanks for being here, man. Really appreciate it. Ben is a professional wrestler, an author, a speaker. You have a movie coming out about you in a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're somebody that I've known about for a while, just met like 7 minutes ago. So I'm excited to talk, man. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah. Thanks for having me come, man.
Of course. I first wanted to ask, this is such a like intense way to dive into the conversation.
I love it.
But you were born with Crouzon Syndrome.
Crouzon Syndrome.
Crouzon.
Like crouton.
Okay, Crouzon.
With a Z, yeah.
Okay, Crouzon Syndrome. It's such a unique thing I've never really heard about before. I would love to hear a little bit about how that defines you or how it doesn't define you. Obviously, I'm sure have a much different relationship with that now than you did when you were a child, when you were a teenager. What was it like growing up being, for lack of a better term, just, having some disfigurement, having some deformation in your face and your skull? I know, having read about it a little bit, you have, people with this syndrome have like more shallow sockets, so your eyes can look like they're bulging. The skull is formed differently. There's a lot of other things that go along with it. But what was sort of that journey like as a child?
Yeah, solid questions. Good research. You're in the right. Where Crouzon syndrome specifically, it's mostly the mid-face that doesn't grow at the same speed. But it will also affect other parts of the body, mostly of the head. And so, like, how it affected me is during surgeries, because they're operating on everything here, they'd cut my head open from ear to ear, they'd cut my skull open and expand it. And then they would take some of the surgeries, they took bones out of my hip. So it was native, right? And then they would restructure my forehead or my head. And if you can imagine expanding it at different seasons in your life so your brain could grow.
Yeah.
Then they would sew you back up and they would pray that the muscles that they just expanded would actually stay.
Right.
I'll never forget, right after my surgeries, they would wire my mouth shut, and then I would have an itch in my nose, and they would reconstruct my entire nose, everything, and then I'd have stents up my nose.
Yeah.
And I'd have to sneeze. And bro, because I had to sneeze and because I had stents and because my mouth was wired shut, try sneezing.
Right.
And then I remember, because there was so much trauma that had happened, when I'd sneeze, my eye would just
Really?
And then every sneeze, what happens? It always comes with 2 or 3 sneezes.
Yeah.
And it was humbling. But then when the doctors tell you, oh, by the way, mom and dad, just prepare for this not to be the hardest thing. Because like a broken arm, things heal, right? Eventually I'd get my wires off my mouth and I could eat little by little. And then my muscles were like jerked back, just like it was like a twitch almost.
Yeah.
You'd be afraid that it would reset, but then it would be after the healing physically that you'd still look a little bit different. And then you'd have to have your new reality be, oh, people still see me as different.
Yeah.
And what does that mean? It means a lot of different stuff.
Yeah. What was your first memory as sort of a sentient child of being like, oh, I'm very different. Like,
Mm,
I'm not, like, maybe your parents warned you a little bit when you're a kid, but as you start going to school, as you start observing the world around you, when
yeah.
did you kind of realize, like, I look really different?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like it's a little bit more apparent in children. Like, it's so obvious because they are growing and their
Yeah.
faces are already tiny. And so it feels a little bit more underscored with children. Is that right, you think?
And not just in how they look, but how the other little children respond, because they say the darndest things, right?
Sure, sure.
They are very
Yeah, they
honest.
have no filter
No filter.
and they don't know how to, like,
Hold that back, dude.
well, they don't know how to take new data and be like, well, let me be sensitive. They're just like,
Mom, look it.
yeah.
Yeah. So there's a moment in a store, an ice cream shop, where everyone's going up to the same glass counter.
Mhm.
And you're all like looking in, and your fog's, the breath is fogging up the glass, and you're right next to everybody. Everyone's wanting to pick the same ice cream. And when I'm in this line, there is a little child with his mom. And when you're born with a difference, you end up having this like sixth sense almost
Mm.
of noticing
Mhm.
stuff. It's like you have a third eye.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. And I didn't know this growing up, but I've noticed it since. I'm like, oh, you didn't notice that? You didn't notice that person in the corner of the restaurant looking at us?
Right.
Like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a fight too, because do you live in that?
Right.
We've seen it with racism. We've
Mhm.
seen it with people that are different. We've seen it with whatever.
Yeah. Do you want that to be your whole world and how you're defined?
Bingo.
Yeah.
And do you want that to be the front of mind?
Yeah.
Then you fall into victim mentality, right? So I'm in this store, but I do notice this
Mhm.
child. And it's a nice summer day. We're out by the beach, and the mom is wearing a skirt, and or a little bit longer dress, I should say. And the child had got behind the dress and was hiding.
Mhm.
And that was the protection barrier of between me and the child, right? And I could take that, because not everyone, I thought, noticed.
Mhm.
Kids playing around, I'm like, nothing was said, nothing was said, nothing was said, nothing was said. Please don't say anything,
Yeah.
because I wasn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I was going to get my freaking ice
Yeah.
cream.
Yeah.
And then it was the child that kept tugging on the mom's dress and said, Mom, there's a monster. There's a monster. Mom, let's hurry. There's a monster.
How old were you?
Dude, elementary, like young.
Yeah.
And young enough to know, like old enough to like have it sink in and hurt,
Mhm.
young enough to have it be, interestingly enough, like a memory so many years later,
Yeah.
to where it's just like, huh. And then me going home, leaving the store that day, and me being with my mom and my dad, and them having these moments of reassurance of who I am,
Mhm.
and saying, hey, you're just fine. You have a lot of people that love you. Or my mom in another situation where I was at a grocery store, but I was alone this time,
Mhm.
and I'm in line, and there's an adult. It wasn't a kid this time. And this man in front of me with his two kids, this is before automatic checkout. So there's
Mhm.
like a long line of people. It's rush hour traffic. And this man looks at me with his kids, grabs and says, look at this kid. He's no wonder why he doesn't have any friends. Look at his face. Nobody wants to be around him. Let's go. Hurry. And then I remember just closing my eyes and grabbing. I'd saved all my money up to buy this Twix. It's like my favorite candy bar. But as I was like squeezing this Twix, it was like a lifeline.
Yeah.
And I was just holding this Twix, and I was just like, and in my mind, we have a crazy. I'm in elementary too, we have a crazy mindset of innocence that you can like click your heels like Dorothy and wish yourself out of these situations.
Right.
I had this thought, like if I just open, this never happens, right? And I open, and then in that moment of what I thought was the worst, the dad says, "Don't go near him and don't touch him because he's probably contagious. Let's go." As he gets away from this monster, right? And it was in that moment I would go home and I'd try to figure out a way to physically take my face off. And that's when my mom would come in. And that's when she would stand me up to the mirror by the vanity and she'd say, "Ben, you need to look at yourself in the mirror because you're born different to make a difference."
Mm.
And it's these things that would like reinforce who I was. It's these things that would be like, it ain't a curse, Ben.
Right.
It's not a why me situation. It's in a God punishment.
Yeah.
This is a what if you're born to not fit in? Ben, what if you're born to stand out?
Yeah.
Just what if?
Mm-hmm.
And you would ask, how did it change from a youth to like maybe today?
Mm-hmm.
I literally would pray to God, please help me get up, go to the mirror, and have that difference be gone.
Yeah.
To today, it's like, if God gave me that answer that I wanted, I don't know if I would take it. Literally.
Yeah.
Because it's created who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like, dude, it's been like a cheat code, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I've actually been able to like take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
in
Because people are automatically interested in what's going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
But.
And the communication comes out different from different people.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's also a great filtering system, right?
Yes, it is.
Right? Like
code to schmucks.
Right. Because ultimately, like, obviously, that guy in the grocery store is one side of the spectrum of just cruelty and general meanness. But if people are even a little bit weird about it, it's like, okay, I don't want them around me. So now I know your insides are rotten. Great. I'll see you later. You know?
I've learned too that what a gift it's been for me. Cause like I've also had people in my life that have been here today and gone tomorrow. Like literally checked out of life. And what was the dangerous thing? We never saw what was different.
Yeah.
For the wrong. We never saw the inner pain. The gift for me is that people automatically think, all right, you're like, be the right people, like be kind to that dude. Like he's probably going through some stuff. Yeah.
His life probably hasn't been easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they approach you with like
some softness.
Maybe some softness. Maybe some curious generosity, maybe.
Yeah, maybe some benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which sometimes drove me nuts too.
Right.
I'm like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like, just give me a fist bump. Let's rock.
Right.
Like, you can touch me. I'm not contagious,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then, but that also allowed me to go beyond my comfort level. And it also allowed me to step out to show, because I would immediately feel their discomfort. And I would overstep my boundaries sometimes, like on purpose.
Yeah.
To be like, yo, I'm okay with it.
Right.
Like, you should be okay with it.
Yeah. Let me get ahead of this.
And so, like, you shouldn't feel uncomfortable because I ain't uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's like an icebreaker. They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I should feel bad for you. I'm like, I feel bad for you, bro.
Right.
Come on, get out of that. Like, and just realizing that it was so easy for me to come back with an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, especially being a wrestler growing up, learning hand-to-hand combat. I'm like, I could definitely choke this dude out.
Right.
But then being like, but what if good people do also have bad days? And what if me coming back with an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth would actually sink them?
Yeah.
And I had too many experiences where that was the case.
Yeah. It sounds like one of the biggest catalysts in your growth and your mindset was just having amazing parents,
Mm,
right? Like
yeah.
to be able to not overreact, but to give you the attention you needed and to let you know, like, okay, this might be brutal. This might be a hard life we have ahead of us, but this is essentially a good thing, right? This is a good thing that you have that makes people there's a magnet. People come to you because they're curious or because they want to know a little bit more. And so it sounds like your parents from the jump instilled in you what self-worth, where it actually lies,
Mm, yeah.
Do you feel like there was a period when, after that incident where you're trying to like physically alter your face and change things, after your parents said that to you, how long did that take to really sit with you and feel true?
Mm,
Because it's easy to hear that and be like, yeah, like I know my mom loves me.
yeah.
But growing up, going through school and high school, and how long did that really take to get to the point where you are now, where you feel like, yeah, I actually literally, if I could give this trial away, I wouldn't.
Mm, yeah. And to see it not as a trial.
Yeah.
That's when it really changes,
Yeah.
right? It was, I mean, I think there's always a battle there,
Sure. Yeah.
but the difference, let me tell you some things that changed for me. And my parents did such an incredible job at this. And I think every parent today deserves to do this to whatever child you have, not just someone who's different, right? What we lack today is true, genuine confidence at every level, not just kids, but with parents, right? And my parents gave me the opportunity, and not even just the opportunity, they put me in things that I didn't have some choice on to allow me to find what confidence was.
Yeah.
And people, you and I both know, you could find confidence in debate, in to checkers, to sports, to dancing, whatever. My parents put me in, like, bro, they put me in clogging. I'm like, I'm so sick and tired of doing the chug.
Yeah.
They put me in piano. I would cry at the piano every day.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah.
For 5 years. They put me in a singing group called Gingerbread Kids. My friends would show up and they're like, what are your parents doing to you?
You're like, do I not have enough reason to get made fun of?
I know. Dude, I would be like in like this like button up like flannel with suspenders. I'm like, oh, am I part of the Lollipop Guild? It was like a mix between Lollipop Guild and like Oompa Loompas.
Yeah.
Singing. But yet it was like, then it was basketball, football, baseball, wrestling, everything under the sun. We didn't have a TV growing up.
Yeah.
They didn't give us the time to do that. Imagine no screens in today's society. Holy smokes, right? And I found something that gave me confidence and that I could control. So outside of Crouzon Syndrome, I needed something that I could control and give frustrations and energy towards, because I couldn't do that within Crouzon Syndrome. I couldn't control that.
Yeah.
And so wrestling ended up being that. Though when I was younger, it was football. And I love football. Why? Because I could hide behind the mask.
Right.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
Like I was just one of the dudes.
Right.
And then I loved in the NFL how they would put on these black things, because I would put it like as much as I could.
Right. Yeah.
Because then they couldn't see me.
Yeah.
And then I had this big like Spaceballs helmet on, right? Because it was so small. And I could be like, wait, the pads like protect me? Like I wasn't talking physically.
Yeah.
Like emotionally, I was protected, hiding. And so going into wrestling was hard for me a little bit, because you don't wear almost anything in that sport.
Yeah.
Right?
It's way more revealing. You're in this little singlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm 5'3", barely 140 pounds as a grown adult. And wrestling was hard. I would remove the mask from football, and I would go wrestle, and I would hear cheerleaders in the corner making fun of me.
Yeah.
Literally mat side. In wrestling, if you've ever seen it, they're mat side.
Right.
Like you could wrestle 3 feet away from them. I could hear them. And then out of the other corner of my ear, I'd hear my coaches. And so at a young age, I learned, what voice do I listen to?
Yeah.
Am I victor or am I victim? Am I listening to the darts flying at me, or am I listening to the people who are in my corner?
Yeah.
But wrestling, because it was a size sport,
Mm-hmm.
weigh in, this is your category, and because my quarterback in football could suck,
Yeah.
and the team sucked.
Right.
I could be receiver and never get a ball.
Mm-hmm.
And so it didn't matter if I did 20 push-ups when my coach told me to do 10.
Yeah.
I call it being disobedient to average.
Right.
Your coach tells you to do 10 push-ups, be average, do 10.
Mm-hmm.
But my pet peeve, bro, my pet peeve at a young age ended up, about middle age, ended up being, I would beg to be normal. I'd beg to be average, until like that became my pet peeve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like today, bro, like even like what I do in life, I don't want to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to fit in. That will be like such a like robotic, boring. That's the definition of hell for me.
Right. Right.
So wrestling was my outlet because I could do more, and my input resulted in what would happen.
Yeah.
Like that was freaking awesome. And my confidence through what my parents allowed me to go into and their support, it's changed my game, man.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're supremely confident, you can kind of dabble in anything you want.
Yeah.
You know, it's a superpower. Like I remember growing up sometimes and seeing the guys that did like the best with girls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is the difference here? Because they're not all better looking
They're not
than
all
me.
the Ken Barbies. Dude.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm decent looking. I can do okay for myself. But I was like, these guys are all supremely confident.
Yeah.
You know? And girls can smell confidence
Yeah, dude.
from miles away. I don't know what it is.
It's comfort for them.
Yeah, yeah. How was, as an adolescent, how was dating? Especially after, I'm sure, hearing things from girls, I'm sure it was hard to feel,
Totally.
it was hard to feel attractive.
Yeah.
How was that when you were, 14, 15, starting to get more interested in girls?
Yeah, well, I was interested in girls before that.
Sure. I mean,
so
like,
I was in elementary, and you and I remember this, with no phones. Our texting was little letters.
little notes, yeah.
Little notes, dude.
Yeah.
And we would have in this desk our little crayon box, and we'd be like, yeah, Brittany wrote me a letter. And she put a heart on top of this one, or the makeup, the lipstick on that one. I'm like, Silver the kiss, let's go. It was always humbling because if I wasn't like different just by my face, it was like I was the shortest one or something. But it was the first thing you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a kid in my ward, and I remember we were baptized on the same day.
Mm-hmm. And
when you get baptized in my faith, you get into white clothes and you go into the baptismal font.
Right.
Well, so I'm like, dude, I'm 8 years old. And we're in the back, like locker room or whatever, to where we get changed. And I see CJ is his name. And he was a tall, confident kid, played basketball, was really good.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him for the first time without like long shorts or pants. And he had a huge, like, I don't know if it was a burn or something on his leg, on his knee.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember he put on the little white clothes or whatever. And I'm like, oh, man, he can hide his difference.
Yeah, yeah.
And I couldn't.
Uh-huh.
And So it came down to like me like feeling like I had to go outside of like I had to gain the personality.
Mhm.
But for me, more than anything, I wanted to become known for something I could control.
Yeah.
So I went all in with wrestling.
Mhm.
And I felt like, man, if I could just be a stud, if I could get results, like chicks would like me or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'd joke around with my teammates when we got like real good. I'd be like, so in wrestling, you get on a scale
Mhm.
and you have to weigh in before you wrestle. And I remember getting on and be like pretty jacked, like I put in the work, right?
Yeah.
Sucked weight, really lean, and you get shredded, right? Because you have to cut down. I remember looking down the line and being confident with what I could control.
Right.
And I looked down the line, I'm like, whose girlfriend am I going to steal today?
Yeah.
This little Crouzon kid who had this swagger.
Yeah.
And then all these cheerleaders, like my coach,
Mhm.
he talks about it in the film. Like my coach would hear stuff that I wouldn't hear
Mhm.
because the coaches would come up to him and they would do the pairings
Yeah.
of the brackets.
Mhm.
And they'd be like, all right, what precautions do we have to have on this Ben Kjar kid?
Yeah.
Because, well, like when blind kids wrestle, there's rules. You have to have hands on them all the time.
Mm.
And there's stipulations you have to go by. They thought I was like handicapped or retarded, like mentally retarded.
Right.
And Shandell, my uncle, who changed my life, was my coach. He's like, I would highly suggest putting all the precautions on your side because my dude's going to wreck you.
Right.
So,
Amazing.
so you better like get your white towel ready
Right.
because you're going to have to throw it in.
Yeah.
And then me being this like little dude, 72 pounds in 7th grade, the weight was 78.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like showing up, I'm like going like this, getting ready, and be like going guns blazing, and then having like a little bit of swagger, bro.
Yeah.
Like that set me apart, and then dating became something to where, as long as I learned to have that like confidence, not be like fake,
Mhm.
to where it was just like a show, but it was like a true confidence. And I treated people kind. They're like, and I was like, in high school, I dated what I thought was like the most beautiful girl in the school, man.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to be loved with like a genuine love.
Mhm.
And at that point in my life, I finally could love me. And this is a point that everyone needs to hear. It's really difficult as an adult, as an adolescent, whatever age, it's hard to love fully another human if you can't love yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
And so I learned to love myself first. When I speak, I say what I call a victory chant. And if people go to victorvault.com, they can get it for free. Just and use it. My first thing I have that I say is, now I choose me.
Mhm.
And if you don't know me and if you see it from like a third person perspective, it's like, yeah, that's kind of arrogant. But everyone should choose them. Because I used to choose to be Bobby and Billy and Jason and Logan version 2.0.
Right.
Dude, I'd walk down the hallways and I'd be like, if I could just be them, if I could just be like them, if I could have the swagger that they have, then life would be better. Until I didn't.
Yeah.
Until I decided with the people in my corner, Ben Kjar 1.0 is way better than anybody else's version 2.0. When I decided to be what God created me to be, life changed, bro.
Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, that's like, I feel like if people have so many problems all the time,
Yeah.
But if people can really figure out true self-love,
Yeah.
I feel like it dovetails into every area of your life,
Mm,
and all of a sudden it infuses you with confidence. It infuses you with an ability to be like, it's okay if I fail
yeah.
because I love me,
Yeah.
you know? And if you can treat yourself like the other people you love like crazy, life is just, it's easy.
Mm.
What for you, um, was it was it like when you first experienced true like romantic love? Like what was that feeling for you? I know like for me, I had lots of versions of it when I was younger when I thought it was love and I was like
Yeah.
it was just I was excited to be there.
Sure. Yeah.
you know. Um and you look back now and I'm like there was just not much depth there. I just liked that girl and she was hot and
Yeah.
we were in the same room and it was cool, you know. But when you first really experienced true love, what did that feel like for you?
I think you said it like there's levels of true love, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought in high school I felt like I told the girl I loved her,
Mhm.
and to me that was a lot.
Yeah.
And it was when like she would show up for me irregardless. That was cool.
Yeah.
The deepest form of true love that I felt like I had was when I found a girl I was getting that I loved, like marriage love.
Mhm.
That's a deep love, right?
Right.
And I knew that Crouzon syndrome and the data behind it said that 50% of my kids would have the opportunity to have Crouzon syndrome.
Mm.
And knowing how difficult that would sound for a female
Yeah.
or a spouse,
Yeah.
knowing that I could probably handle that.
Right.
Why? I've done this thing.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. But it's a big ask.
it is
Yeah.
because of, I mean, I could list 50 things, right? But it's, if parenting isn't hard enough,
Mhm.
it's throwing like surgeries into the mix.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden your grandkids go in and potentially will have 50% of their kids. And then
Right.
it's just heavy financially, emotionally.
Yeah.
And it was when my, my, what I thought was my love of my life, when I told her and I was upfront and vulnerable
Mhm.
before we were married and,
Yeah.
and had, were engaged, I said, you need to know this. So I told her about it. And so she went home and we were in the age of the internet and she researched it. And bro, if you research Crouzon syndrome, it does not bring up the good stuff all the time.
Yeah.
It is gnarly and it is heavy and it is hard
Yeah.
and it looks real bad.
And it's really scary looking,
Yeah.
right? I don't
Yeah.
mean scary like you look like a monster. I mean it's scary. It's scary to see a really young child suffer.
Yeah.
It's really scary to see a baby that is in pain and is obviously going to have a long life ahead of them. That's scary,
Yeah.
especially as a mother that, has those maternal instincts.
And to know you love them and there's no defense of people having bad days
Mhm.
and them saying stuff, you take it on you and you automatically come up in the defense. And then it's not a life of peace. If you feel like you have to do that all the time, it's a
Yeah.
battle life.
Right.
It's a defense life. It's come on, let's fight. And so you wake up, you're like, who am I fighting today?
Right.
That's not something anybody dreams of for, right? If
Mhm.
that's how you approach it.
Yeah.
But it was after the girl I was dating, her name's Lacole. It was after Lacole would come back and we would have a deep moment and she would turn to me and she's like, Ben, who better to raise the kids with Crouzon syndrome than us? She didn't say you.
Yeah, yeah.
She said us.
Right.
Bro, when she said that, I'm like, I thought I loved you.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Now I know, like, it's me and you to the moon.
Yeah. Bro,
You
she
know?
chose me.
Yeah.
She chose me.
Yeah.
And when I heard that was, and that was deep. That was the thing that I always wondered, could I be fully loved?
Hmm.
Like fully loved. My biggest fear was that, oh freak, like what if I love, and my parents love so big, so I had a great example of
Yeah.
that. And so I didn't ever worry about me loving. That wasn't, I never had issues with that.
Yeah.
I wanted something to love. I wanted a relationship to have and to love. It was, what if we get married and like I'm in a restaurant or a store like I have been on my own.
Yeah.
And they look and they stare and they say, because they do say monster. They do say, look, it's an alien. They do say this. I'm fine. None of us fear failure if nobody else is watching.
Right.
It's when other people watch, especially the love of my life.
Hmm.
Will she then think, they're right?
Yeah.
Why should I love this?
Yeah. Will she listen to the voices?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That were constant many times.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like, I've always said, for me, when it comes to love, I think the three I mean, I could make a lengthy list, but the three things you really need is to feel fully seen, fully heard, and fully loved.
Mm.
You know? And so, and those are really hard,
Yeah.
right? It's one thing to be kind of seen, kind of heard, and kind of loved. And a lot of people will settle for that.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's more than what they're used to. Maybe they didn't
Mm.
have that example of their parents, right? But to me, you're absolutely emotionally doomed if you're not fully seen, if you're not fully heard, you're not fully loved. If there's just bits of you that they love.
Yeah.
And there's parts that they're like, I mean, I love Ben, but I don't love this about
Yeah.
him.
Conditions.
You know? Yeah, that's conditional love, and I don't think it's sustainable. You know, so it's beautiful that you found truly unconditional love, and you felt it so firmly before you guys got married. So you're like, I'm in a good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really lucky too in high school to have some rad like girlfriends
Mm-hmm.
and some people that showed up for me
Yeah.
when I decided to show up for myself.
Yeah.
But I think that's so important. Like, I think that's so important that everything that we can control in this life,
Mm-hmm.
like you and I, we live in an area where there's a bunch of colleges, some of the biggest colleges in the state. There's a lot of college kids, and they're always looking for not always, but a lot of them are looking for their spouse, right?
Yeah.
And because there's certain things in my life that I haven't been able to control, I've went deep and so serious on the things that I can.
Yeah.
And I was taught that early on, Ben, if you focus and you live in this mud
Mm-hmm.
that's quicksand that you can't control,
Yeah.
you will sink.
Right.
So get the freak out of there.
Yeah.
And focus on what that you can control.
Mm-hmm. Taught you to be a tryhard, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this is a lesson, and this is a advice for anybody out there, that something that I learned. Stuff that you can control in your life, go all in.
Yeah.
One of my pet peeves are people that can control things and they just don't.
Right.
Effort, I mean, even fitness and certain things. Like, if you have control over something,
Mm-hmm.
where is the focus? Where is the effort? Come on. I feel like it must be people that like have never had non-control of something.
Mm-hmm.
And so as you're going for the spouse, as you're going for the loved one, as you're going for the boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, you will attract what you deserve.
Yeah. 100%.
And many people don't think that.
Yeah.
They're the 3s and they want the 10s.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're like, why can't I? Oh man, why can't I? I'm like, bro, because you ain't that.
Right. Right.
And so the biggest piece of advice I would give, because I speak to that demographic at times, and many of them come up, they're like, yo, how do I live this incredible life? I'm like, well, freaking live the incredible life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, do it. And you will be surprised at who magnetically like comes into your life, or who God takes you into the life of.
Mm-hmm.
And then we all hear that we're the sum of the 5 people that we surround ourselves with. Who are those people?
Right.
Who are you allowing in your circle? Maybe we need to fire some freaking people, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe we need to say no a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe that friend that's been with you since your childhood, and he's with you because he's been with you in the childhood, maybe those addictions aren't so healthy.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's time to upgrade.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to say no a little bit more. And instead of thinking that like yes is the answer,
Yeah. Yeah. One of my things I'm obsessed with is, like you said, I just say you have to control the controllables, right? And you have to understand that in almost every domain of your life, there are things out of your control and things within your control, So I talk to people, as a coach talking about dating and relationships, and I say, okay, if you're struggling with dating, there's so much outside of your control, but there's a lot within your control.
Yeah.
A lot of it is, how willing are you to be available? How social are you being? How are you, I talk to so many people that, we'll talk about dating and the struggles, and the first thing they say is, but I'm not going to be on the apps. And I'm like, okay, but then don't complain that you're not meeting people.
Right.
Right? Because what a great tool to meet people. And maybe it's not for you,
Sure.
but that's within your control, right? You can't control how people necessarily will feel about you, how they like you, how attracted they are to you.
Sure.
But you can control how you take care of yourself, your hygiene, your fashion, your fitness. There's so much within your control. So let's focus on those things, and then you don't take the rejection as personally.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I did kind of my part.
Sure.
And I'm doing the best I can. And so if they're not into it, that's an L for them.
Totally.
That's my attitude towards it. Like, I'm single, and obviously I'm not impervious to rejection. It still sucks.
Sure.
But I view it as, okay, like, I have such love for myself.
Yeah.
I have such high self-worth that if somebody doesn't want to be with me, I'm like, it's kind of an L for you.
Totally. And the danger is then, like, growing up, because of that rejection, which I would get, I would then start being the not genuine version of me, hoping that they would like that then.
Yeah.
And bruh, how dangerous that is.
Right, to play a character.
To play a character and to play this game that you always have to step into. And then you live a life of non-inner peace. I always say that there's no bigger flex in today's society than inner peace.
Yeah.
Not money.
Yeah.
It's
hard. It's kind of hard to flex it though.
Yeah, that's the cool thing.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing.
But people can see it.
Yeah, they can feel. You can hide it for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And people do, right? There's been times where I've done that.
Yeah.
But man, you're with them just long enough and just let them reveal themselves.
What do you think are some like attributes to someone that has deep inner peace?
I think the ability to just like almost go in a space and be like alone, but in like a public space, and people know him or them, and not have to be the center of attention. And I'm just speaking for myself because I went through this journey.
Yeah.
I went through like having to feel like I had to be seen. I had to be this because I wasn't confident with who I was. So I had to kind of act out to get this attention.
You probably wanted attention for, you're
Something
like, I already
else.
have attention. I
Yeah.
want it for different reasons. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like people that have really strong inner peace, are better at being present,
Mm.
right? Because they're not emotionally agitated by
Yeah.
external things. They can be there with you, and yeah, it's such an attractive quality.
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about your wife? What do you love most about your wife?
She is probably one of the most consistent humans in life that I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm a little bit of a warrior mentality. Like
Mhm.
I love like tearing stuff down and like
Yeah.
breaking through walls and
Right.
stuff.
You got some
And
David Goggins in you.
I wouldn't say I don't connect with David Goggins,
Sure.
but a little bit of the warrior mentality.
Yeah.
Where I like get after it, let's go. I would say Tony Robbins maybe is
Right.
someone who inspires me. But she's the one that is like the yin to my yang. She's the one that's like the solid ground. I love big, but she's the one that holds me back and says, maybe you double check this.
Right.
There's so much wisdom in women in general. I think that's how it is too, just with being a woman. But she grounds me in so many ways, but pushes me in so many others. I remember in college, I set a big goal. I called my shot to be Utah Valley University's first ever wrestling All-American. They never had one. It was scary. And this is who my wife is. I told you a little bit about who she was. Like, who better to parent Crouzon kids than us?
Yeah.
Let's freaking go.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy cow. But babe, like I try to talk her out of it. I'm like, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
This is who my wife is. She, we would pray, have our pillow talk, and then we would go to sleep, and we're in the wrestling season, and I'd almost go to sleep, and then she would like shake me awake. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, stop it. She's like, hey, I forgot to tell you something. She said, I'm the luckiest woman to be the wife of Utah Valley University's first ever future All-American. And way before I would ever achieve anything of notoriety, she saw it.
She was in your corner cheerleading.
And whether I won or lost,
yeah,
she was freaking there.
Yeah.
The color of the medal meant nothing.
Right.
And it was her that would be like, but it was always her that when I was victim mentality, she's like, freaking buck up, dude.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. And she ran track in college. So she already had like a mentality that was pretty strong that I needed. But my favorite thing is how she shows up for me day in and day out. And she's consistent.
Yeah.
And she loves another man more than me. And that's God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was so cool.
Yeah.
It was respectable,
Yeah. Dude, it's funny. I was watching, you just had a couple videos on YouTube kind of talking about your story and how you guys adopted children. And I remember I was watching and I was like, oh, I don't need to know anything else. I can tell how much this guy loves his wife. You want to know how? She was talking and just the way you were looking at her, I could just tell, you saw the divinity within her. You saw her for who she really is. You saw the God inside of her. And that's one of my favorite things when I see that in couples, right? That's when I'm kind of like, they got it figured out. They're going to be okay. Is when I see how they look at each other.
Yeah.
When they're doing the most menial things, she's just like talking about, yeah, we were doing this and blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, that's my girl.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Being proud, right?
Yeah.
Being like dang proud of, oh my gosh. Like, so when I first met her, the thing that attracted me about her was, dude, she was going places whether I was with her or not.
Right. Yeah, she wasn't dependent on you in any way.
No.
Yeah.
And so I felt like, I'm like, bro, what am I going to bring her down? She's going like to this place. and I want to go on that journey. Do I give that value? Like, when you meet the right type of woman, you know this. We've all dated different levels and type of woman, and you're like almost hesitant with the right ones. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, freak.
Well, the stakes are higher all of a
They
sudden.
are.
Yeah.
And you want to show up the right way. And,
Mhm.
but just to be you. Like, I remember one of our first dates was we played racquetball together, and she beat me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if I loved her or hated her. I'm like, who is this freaking chick?
Yeah.
But then knowing, like, afterwards, she's like talking trash to me. I'm like, I love her, and gritting my teeth. But she was real, bro.
Yeah.
Like, she's from a Duchesne, small town girl, like,
Oh, say no more.
like so real.
Yeah.
And like, no nonsense, but yet could like punch you in the arm. Tough, but yet a woman. But someone who just shows up for me day in and day out with not a roller coaster of emotion.
Right.
And
Just
because
steady.
my wife, steady. I needed that steady rock, man. She is just everything that is.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about your journey with adopting kids. I know you guys did IVF a million times and ultimately ended up adopting. What was that? What did that journey do for you and your wife as a couple? How did that bring you guys closer? Because some people, it'll tear them apart.
Yeah.
She went through miscarriages. You have 4 failed IVFs, which is a financial burden. It's an emotional thing. What did that do to you guys as a team, as a unit?
We decided on new beginnings instead of dead ends. And why I think that's significant for me and my wife is because we made a deliberate choice that when a quote unquote fail would come, like, for an example, me and my wife would show up to the doctor's appointment with IVF, and she could barely go to work and sit down, dude. Because you poke yourself in your stomach and then in your hip.
Yeah, you're bruised to death,
bro. And she has very light skin, and you would see it.
Yeah.
And I would just, oh man, when I would see it, it would just hurt me. And I remember being on the road, and the week previous we'd been in the doctor's appointment. They're like, everything's healthy. This is awesome. And this was after we had a miscarriage. And so we went back to the same doctors. And so they're stoked. They're like, this is it.
Yeah.
And then I'm on the road. And then I get this call from my wife a week later. And she's like, Ben, when can you come home? I'm like, what's up? She said, that baby that was inside, that was breathing last week isn't breathing anymore. I need you home. And then coming home and having her just like us cuddling and just crying together. And then deliberately choosing a new beginning instead of just marinating in this ugliness.
Yeah.
And for us, the new beginning was traveling. There's a reason why we've been to over 50 countries.
Yeah.
Because those were new beginnings of what would be sucky.
Yeah.
Instead of dead end, we're done.
Right.
Why me, God?
So it was almost like you took those horrible moments and said, well, let's actually celebrate
the new beginnings.
Let's celebrate what's next.
Yep.
Because this chapter sucked.
Yeah.
But let's be joyous and let's move forward.
That was our survival. That's how we survived.
Yeah.
And that's how we didn't have kids for 10 years. And my wife and I were talking with some people the other day, and what we thought for a while was the biggest curse, because in Utah, there's a lot of people that have kids, and they're like, when are you having kids? When are you having kids? And we're like, and we never told anyone about our miscarriages.
Yeah.
We didn't tell anybody about our adoption story.
Right.
That's why when you go on YouTube and you watch the Care Adoption Reveal, it actually was awesome
Yeah.
because my family didn't know.
Right.
But that was dark too,
Mhm.
because we didn't tell anybody, because we were so sick and tired of going to these family events and being like, poor you, and
Yeah.
we don't buy into that.
Yeah.
It drives us crazy, this
Right.
victim mentality. That when we had these moments of new beginnings, it was just like so awesome. But because we had so many of those, that moment of trial, those years of trial, became the biggest gift. We were asked the other day, hey, what makes you guys so strong together? We said it was the 10 years of us,
Yeah.
of experiencing, of traveling around the world, backpacking, hiking Mount Kilimanjaro, like doing all these things. It was us. So that when we have, which we've had hard times since, having kids and stuff, we look at each other, we like, we got this?
Yeah.
New beginning? Great. Where are we going to now?
Yeah.
And now our kids just come with us.
Yeah. Because you've been into the trenches together.
Oh, bro, she's my battle buddy.
Yeah.
I'll watch a Super Bowl with her, UFC fights with her, over anybody else, dude.
Yeah.
100%.
Because she still beats you at racquetball, or have you upped your game a little bit?
She's still freaking good. Yeah, she still beats me.
That's funny. But we know if there's a wrestling match, we know what's gonna happen.
She's actually pretty good at wrestling. She does cheap shots like fish hooks and choking and stuff.
Okay, so she's more of an MMA type.
Yeah, she understands what it takes to take me out.
I love that. How old are your kids now?
I got 3 kids, 6, 6, and 5.
Okay. At that young age, and I mean at any age, as a father, what is your goal when it comes to how to instill what it means to love somebody and to love yourself? Because it's a little tricky as a kid and as a teenager. There's just so much you don't know about life. As a father, how do you implicitly show them, like, this is what love is, this is what love means?
I first think that consistent verbal is so important.
Yeah.
And my dad did that to me in different ways. So we would go to these NCAA wrestling championships. It costs a lot of money. I mean, we've been, this year's 2026. This year will be our 27th year going in a row.
Oh.
And my dad started that long before I ever went to college. And why? Because he wanted me to see what I could achieve.
Yeah.
That's a form of love by example. Here's the example of what this is. And then he would verbalize it.
Yeah.
He would show it through doing, and then he would verbalize it. At the end of the tournament, where the wrestlers would come off the top, get the medals on the top of the podium, he would reach over to me, this little Crouzon kid who didn't know if he could achieve anything. And literally doctors were saying, you can't wrestle.
Yeah.
It's a contact sport, bro.
Right.
Oh, by the way, your neck surgery, you won't be able to wrestle after either. But instead, I had the reinforcement of my hero. And he would point down at the podium, and then he would say, as he would point at my chest, you belong on that podium, Ben. Ben Kjar. All-American Ben Kjar.
Yeah.
What we do every day is we verbalize our kids. My boy knows that his name is Liam, and he knows that his name means protective warrior. He writes it on his school papers, Liam, protective warrior.
Yeah.
He knows that he is the man. We tell him that he is, like, it's constant in his ear. You're powerful, you're strong, you're confident, you're tough. And it's constant, and it's constant, and it's constant. And then it's sitting him up in front of the mirror, And it's literally like we say it and they say it. We say it and they say it. And bro, my kids, I think, are too confident sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I should literally show you the gainer, my 5-year-old just like flew off. like they're tenaciously confident.
Yeah.
Because we've done our best at instilling that in them, but also they came from a confident God.
Right.
It's us that gets in the way sometimes.
Yeah.
My biggest warning to parents is that we are the default of our kids' beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
We are the issue. Ed Milet, I share this quite a bit. Ed Milet made a difference in my life when he gets up on stage. I was in the audience, and he said one of the most insidious forms of child neglect. Now, when he said that, I heard child abuse is parents not living their dreams and achieving their potential. And that's the biggest warning to parents. By how we live, that will be the level of like potential that they have for themselves.
Yeah.
And so they listen to a fraction of what we tell them. They watch everything we do. So if I don't show up, how do I expect for them to show up? Last thing I'll share about this. I was the MC the other night, 2 nights ago, at the All-Star match for all the best wrestlers in Utah. And there's a kid named Casey Jones. He's a national champion wrestler. I know his dad because he was my teammate growing up, and he was a national champion wrestler. And his dad gained some weight over time, and I asked his dad, Cam, I said, you look great. And he said, my boy needed a training partner, and I need to show him. At the end, I'm doing like the Joe Rogan style type thing. And I asked Casey, I'm like, Casey, you're a national champion. You just won the match. You smoked this kid. Your father's sitting in your corner. Why is it important that he's there? And what has he done to allow you to achieve your national championship goals? And he said this. He said, in front of like the whole stadium, Kaysen said this about his father. My dad won't expect me to do anything that he won't do. That's a let's go theory.
Yeah.
That's not dad, which we see every day, sitting on the sidelines, eating the popcorn or the cheeseburger saying, come on, son, you can do it. Instead of, let's do it.
Yeah.
That's leadership.
Right.
And because I had that, because I had my dad not say, go out and play pass. You have this goal for football. It was, come on, son, let's go play pass.
Yeah.
That's camaraderie. That's leadership. That's connection. That's love.
Yeah. What a beautiful way to instill it is to just show. I love what you said about, it's almost like you do with your kids, like love affirmations. Yeah. Right. It's reminding them maybe on a daily basis that they're loved, because I don't think you could argue that a kid can't hear that enough, you know, because like you said, they're such little verbal sponges. Yeah. You know, if you can just repeatedly tell them things, they're going to be confident. They're going to know they're loved. And, you know, I was talking to a client recently that was struggling with loving herself, right? And she was saying, I said, well, tell me some things you love about yourself. Just give me 2 or 3 things. And she goes, well, I'm an amazing friend. I'm a really good friend. I'm loyal. And then she goes, and then I love really hard. I'm a big lover. I love so hard. And I said, well, the beautiful thing is you just told me you already have all the tools to love yourself. You already have that love so deep within you, and sure, you're sending it in a different direction. I said, but it's all right there. It already exists. You have this inexhaustible well of love, and you already said you're good at it. You're good at feeling it. You're good at sharing it. So just go inward, give it back to yourself. And yeah, it was a cool moment where she's kind of like, I think she felt like she had to go find that self-love somewhere,
Yeah.
right? She had to go procure it. And I'm like, you can look around for it, but it's right there.
Mm.
It's already within you, and it comes from an infinite source.
Yeah.
And so there's no like, I only got a little bit left.
Yeah.
It's like you have as much as you want.
I love that.
Yeah. What is
Let me add to that.
yeah.
I don't know who she is, so this won't be offensive to her, but I hope she does listen to this, or anybody like that, because we're all like that
Yeah,
at some
yeah.
level. I believe we're cheating our loved ones or spouse when we do that.
Mm.
Because
When we don't love ourselves.
yes,
Yeah.
because when we don't love ourselves, I don't believe we can love to a full extent another human. If we can't fully exemplify a love, not exemplify, like fully engulf ourselves in love, we never become a source to do the same for someone else. And though we may say, no, I'll love someone else, so you don't know how, because you've never learned this.
Mm-hmm.
And can you imagine your child thinking that, let's say you're 70% love of you. Can you imagine your child thinking that 70% is 100%?
Right.
Bro, there's a 30% delta of what reality could be. That's why there's so many troubled kids today, because there's troubled parents.
Yeah.
And they're showing not a maximized version of what can happen. That's the scariest thing in our own life, and it's the coolest thing in our own life, because we set that ceiling.
Yeah.
And as you said, we all come from an infinite source of love.
Mm-hmm.
What if there wasn't 100%? What if it was just like infinity?
Yeah.
And then like, that is freaking rad.
Yeah.
Because then allowing your kids and your loved ones and the people around you and your team to be like, there isn't an impossible.
Yeah. And we can always love more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Not putting a cap on being like, okay, I'm loving you 100%. Right. It feels weird to call that a cap, I guess.
Right.
Because it's just, it's all right.
Yeah.
But let me push back really slightly on that, because I mostly agree. I mostly agree that, I don't know, if we don't fully love ourselves, it is, I don't think impossible, but really difficult to love other people fully. I think about growing up, a lot of years, my dad had really crippling depression, right? And I don't really know, but my assumption is at times really struggled to love himself, right? But I always felt a fullness of his love. I think just at times he wasn't able to display it at a 10.
Yeah, totally.
It came across at a 4.
Totally.
But I think maybe because when he was feeling good and when he was up to it, it was always a 10. And so I think I knew, even if he was struggling, I knew he didn't love me any less. And so I think, although he did struggle to love himself at times, I think he always had a little bit left in the tank.
Yeah.
And gave it to us.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's kind of it's something that is hard to quantitate.
Let me propose something. What I've learned is it's not what I say, it's what I do. Let me propose something. I believe without the depression, you would have seen a different father.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not what he would have done. Let me say this. What he would have said, it's how he would have lived that would have taught you something different.
Mm-hmm.
I take that personally as a father, because not what I say to my kids, or even coming home with a, like today, it's been a long day. I go home, my battery's like not full. It's how I show up like in that moment. It's like whatever I can take out of my life to allow me to live a totally different level, that alone will teach my kids.
Mm-hmm.
For me, like, it's been such a radical thing. So I got a call. 15 hours later, I was a dad. There's no 9-month preparation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was the raddest and the most scariest thing. Because what I showed, they saw was like, holy cow. But you make a good point. And when you find someone, you get married, you learn real quick that your family and their family is so messed up in so many ways, and their family and your family is so radical in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe lessons too of what maybe you see that you don't want in your life can be such a poignant lesson too,
Sure.
of what to stay away from or what to go towards.
Yeah.
And not knowing, I bet you have empathy at a whole nother level, be able to be able to see that, you know?
Yeah.
I bet you have clients that you teach, you do coaching, right? That now have a father that maybe had similar things that your father had. And bro, you'll be able to empathize with him
Yeah.
at a level that probably few people can.
Yeah.
What a gift, right?
Well, you know what I think it's done for me? I think it's helped me really understand at a deep level. And I've experienced some depressive eras, but
Yeah, I think we all have.
I don't think it's ever been terribly clinical, but I think I really understand sadness.
Mm,
And so I feel like I can see it.
yeah.
You know, you talked about being sort of hyper observant.
Mm,
I feel like I can spot sadness.
yes. Yeah.
I feel like I can see when somebody has some heaviness in their eyes
Mm,
and they've been through some stuff.
yeah.
And it's kind of a superpower,
It totally
right?
is a superpower.
And because I can sense it and I'm so sensitive to it, I want to approach them with lightness and not with caution, but I want to approach them with extra love.
Yeah, like consideration
you know?
on that, right?
Yeah. And so yeah, I just I don't know, I view it as nothing but a blessing. And the other thing is, I've also seen, I don't want to paint the wrong picture, I've seen my dad in incredible eras of joy,
Yeah.
and that's meant so much to me
Yeah.
to be able to see, because I know there were some darker chapters,
I love that.
you know, and so it's made me hyper observant about joy, right? I feel like, and maybe I'm making this all up in my head, but I don't care. I feel like I see, I'm at the airport, I see somebody having a little moment. I see somebody smiling at a text. I see two people hugging. And it's why I'm like, I feel like it's why I'm a very sensitive dude. I'm very moved by little moments. And so, yeah, ultimately it's just such a huge blessing in both ways.
Let me ask you something. What's a moment in your life that's like, you asked me about some moments like that have helped me change to who I am. What's like a standout moment in your life that's been like allowed you to be who you are today? Because I remember our dear friend Tommy connected us.
Yeah.
And I remember like researching you. And I remember watching you as a human. And I'm like, you have like a peace about you that, to me, as I say, like the inner peace is such a flex, man.
Yeah.
Like it's such a rad. Like to me, I think that's so, to me, it's intriguing. I love it. In my life, I've gotten really good at performing in chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so good and so bad.
Right.
Because when chaos is removed, if you get really good at performing in chaos, you're seen as like a hero.
Yeah.
So you invite chaos in.
Right.
because you want to go back to being heroic.
That's where you're comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where you feel like you're seen.
Mhm.
And so I'm in an era in my life to where that peace is just like, this feels nice.
Yeah.
So what's a moment in your life that's like, have you always been that way, or there's been significant moments to where?
It's such a hard question because I think we evolve so just tiny
Yeah,
bit by
right.
bit,
Sure.
right? Part of it is I think I always looked up to my mom, and my mom is just a beacon of peace, right? And she's had a lot of hardships in her life, but I never see her disrupted, right? I never see her like frazzled, truly frazzled. I just see peace. And I know she gets annoyed and she gets frustrated and she has the whole range of human emotions. But I see so much peace there that I'm like, I think I always chased after it and always admired it when I saw it in people. I remember there's an experience coming to my mind. I served a mission for my church, and I was in Brazil for 2 years.
Oh, sweet.
And as a missionary for our church, you're walking around with this companion 24/7, and if you don't get along, it's brutal.
It
You
is.
know, and this kid, who, by the way, I love this kid, but it was a brutal 5 months or whatever, right? He, for whatever reason, got upset with me and didn't talk to me for 3 days. And we're out there and
Dang,
we're
yeah.
out there in the streets trying to teach people, trying to proselyte, trying to do all these things, and he wouldn't even speak around me. If other people were there, he'd fall silent. And it was driving me insane.
Right.
And I've always just been a pretty chill dude. Maybe you don't believe that if you've played sports with me, but I'm ultimately a pretty chill dude. I don't get ruffled that easily. But I was it's probably the angriest I've been in my life. Just so much lack of peace.
Yeah. Because he chose into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I felt totally out of control.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I have all this anger. It's all his fault. I don't know how to fix it. I didn't do anything wrong. Felt like a victim, right? And then one night I had just kind of had enough. And I fell to my knees and was praying for this to go away, for some solution, right? And do we need to change, Tommy?
You got to stop doing that.
Sorry, you make me nervous. I don't want to go deep into a story, and then
You gotta stop doing it.
No, he's the only one that's ever done it. He did it
Done
2 weeks
what?
ago. So I have to change the
Stop?
cameras every 29 minutes,
Oh, okay.
or it like overheats.
But if it goes over, there's like a little black spot and it messes up the flow. So anyway,
no,
sorry.
it's okay. Hey, I've screwed up before, so I understand that exactly.
Yeah.
Here I am talking about anger.
No, okay, so we're reset.
Okay.
So you're praying.
So I'm just in a state of desperation. Like, I need something to change. And so I'm just falling to my knees and I'm praying for something to happen. And honestly, this is the first time this has ever happened. I couldn't get any words out because I was so mad. I was so angry. I wasn't able to articulate anything. And, I'm 19 and felt like such a huge deal to me. If this happened now, I'd be like, all right, bro, keep not talking to me. It's your problem. But it was really weighing on me. And I felt like we didn't have the spirit with us. I felt like there was, and I was determined to like not give up on this prayer, but I couldn't utter a word for I don't know how long. And finally some peace came over me and I was able to utter out some prayer. Didn't think anything really about it. And then I get up and he just walked over to me, said he was sorry, and gave me a hug. And we both started crying. And That was it.
Hmm.
He didn't like explain what his problem was. He didn't really apologize any further, but that's all we needed. And I think, I don't know why that moment was so impactful for me, but it made me, I can kind of see a delineation from there where I stopped taking things so personally and so seriously,
Yeah.
and decided to not let things get to me
Yeah.
and not be affected by things so much. And I realized a lot of that was within my control. And I think God in that moment was kind of making me go through that to show me like, yeah, dude, these things happen, but like you have some control over how you feel. You have some control over how you want to deal with crises like this. And so it ultimately wasn't like some groundbreaking, crazy, epiphanic moment, but I don't know, from that point on, I think, you know, it was near the end of my mission service, and I feel like I came home and I felt like you guys can't rattle me. Like I'm good, you know, like
That's powerful.
Yeah, you can be pissed at me, you can be upset with me, you can yell at me. It feels like that's on you, you know, I don't know.
When someone understands that and you realize like it's your will you have to give away.
Yeah.
And it's really comes down to almost like a pride thing.
Yeah.
That's like when you get dangerous.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like when you understand that level of inner like camaraderie and control, that's when you're real dangerous.
Well, I think like you said with the pride, I think the main thing I took from that was I had to find a way to put my ego aside, right?
Totally.
Because like I said, he never really gave me a good explanation, you know? So if I was still obsessed with being right or needing closure on that, I still would have been upset with him. But he gave me a hug and that's all I needed, you know? And so, you know, to this day, I'm like, I try to always be thinking like, how involved is my ego in this equation?
Totally.
And the answer is usually quite a bit.
Right.
You know? And so, I don't know, as much as I can eliminate the ego, like the better, I don't know.
So in life, there's two biggest fears of mankind. It's the fear of not being enough and the fear of failure. And kind of what we talked about a while ago, like if like, and we all have it, it's just like, how much do we play into it? Right?
Yeah.
Imagine like this ego. If we truly didn't care if we failed in front of other people, because bro, you know, we all sing in the shower and we're all like belting out the chorus of Shania Twain or who it is, and we're not sounding like her.
Yeah.
But yet we go out and karaoke and there is no Shania Twain going on.
Yeah.
Right? If once our ego is put into check and all of a sudden we're like willing to fail another, like dance like nobody's watching, we've heard that. Like what if like that happens in life? That's like, dude, and people are watching. Like I keep going back to the kids. They see that. They pattern it. And oftentimes we're the one who stops it as the parents. Hey, shape up, do this. And we stop the internal dreaming of them because of our lack of ability to dream.
Yeah.
And that's where it truly is child neglect, I think.
Yeah.
And that's radical, man. And so I love that. That's such a great lesson. And there's so many times I've had to just like bite my lip and also just like move on and also understand I just don't need a full response in life.
Yeah.
I don't need God to come and tell me, be like, exclamation point.
Right.
Sometimes it's a run-on sentence.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you celebrate the journey of whatever that looks like. And I don't know. That's just in my own life as I've seen that. And as I've strived to like give that to my kids, though it's like so hard. There's been some fun journeys that I'm like, I would have never done that at their age.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's really cool when you can separate those things. Another thing I talk about a lot with my clients is I think, and I struggled with this for a lot of years, but when you get heartbroken or you go through a breakup, I think we sometimes we think the thing that'll make us feel better is closure, right?
Yeah.
And whether it's from God or just from the person,
Sure.
we feel like we have all these loose ends.
A lot of times it's from the person.
Yeah, it's usually
you expect them to.
Yeah. But I tell people, like, sometimes you're holding on to that thinking that's the thing that's going to heal you and allow you to move forward. But I'm like, the truth is you're hurt. Your heart's broken. You were rejected. You were left behind. So nothing they say is going to really fix that.
Right.
It might help 5% to be like, okay, now I don't have to wonder anymore. But ultimately, I think we hold on to closure because it tethers us to that thing that we don't want to move on from.
Yeah.
And so I tell people, like, you don't need closure, actually. It's not essential. It doesn't need to be part of your healing journey. You can just accept what happened. You can be sad about it.
Sure.
You can be hurt, but either way, you need to move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the lack of progress too, right? Like in my own life, when I feel like everything has to be perfect, like if you've heard of the saying, they're like, just you fire, then you aim.
Mm-hmm.
That's sometimes how it just has to be.
Yeah.
To get onto your next relationship, you just have to go.
Yeah.
Fire, like ask the next girl out or whatever, and just go.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of loose ends in life, and some need to be closed.
Yeah.
I get that, but there's a lot of just that are open. And I think we lack, in my life, I've lacked progress when I felt like everything had to just be buttoned up and perfect. Whereas sometimes we just got to get up and we just got to roll.
Yeah.
And that first roll is just rolling out of bed, bro. You're not going to land on your feet. And half the time you're going to have to land on your knees because you're going to have to be like, God, I can't get up today.
Yeah.
So please guide me and put the foot before the next one. But I love Indiana Jones because he set a perfect example when he was going to go find the goblet. And if you remember, to get there, he had to walk across this like canyon, and there was nothing in front of him. And sometimes we just have to freaking take the step. And after the faith in that footstep, you show up in the room, this cavern where Indiana Jones goes.
Yeah.
And always like, get the one with the big Stanley Cup with the jewels.
Yeah.
But yet he gets the one, and he picks up the one that looked so imperfect. It was the one that he had to brush off, but he felt like that was it. Like in life, it's like the imperfect, just like radical moments that took faith in the footstep to get there. That's like the most beautiful thing, man. I think we wait for these brilliant moments and these brilliant, like perfect people to come into our life. We're like, it's every step that's just like radical. And if we're just like living present, then there's just like such cool things.
Yeah. Every like, I'm not always good at this, but I love looking at my life as a constant sequence of miracles, a constant sequence of sacred moments, and they don't all hit the same. They don't always feel miraculous or sacred, but if you view it like that, you're like, man, this is a Thursday. It's a normal day. I'm doing a podcast like I always do, but man, maybe this conversation maybe there's some sacredness to it. Maybe it's really special. Maybe it'll help somebody. Maybe it's a miracle that we got in the same freaking room. I don't know.
Yeah.
And maybe just not assuming that it's a miracle, but saying, but maybe it is. I don't know. That to me
and you look for it and like actually expect those.
Yeah.
Expect these moments like you and I meeting just for the first time tonight to be like, let's freaking go.
Yeah.
Like there's a little Ben out there there's a little Ben out there that's going to pick up this podcast. And I'll tell you what, he probably won't pick up the podcast, but he'll be listening over the shoulder of his mom who's in the kitchen making ravioli for him at night. And she's listening.
Mm-hmm.
And she hears and this boy, he hears this moment that made a complete change in my life. And when we realize that scripture is literally moments written down, we just have different technologies now. Like what we're literally doing is what I call a living scripture.
I like that.
This is a living scripture that when you and I are gone, bro, the Billies and the Bobbies and the Jasons and the Bennies of tomorrow, as long as we have this technology, which should be a long time, I mean, we still read from text.
Right.
This is here. And as long as we do what we feel like is our job, and when I say job, I mean just like throw your will and ego back and say, this is what I freaking learned. Yeah, I'm jacked up in so many ways. Like, this is who I am. People who intrigue me today, are the people who are so raw and open. Someone who intrigues me right now, have you ever heard the name Jelly Roll?
Yeah, I know Jelly Roll.
Super intriguing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Not because he's like me, bro. I don't have a tattoo on my body.
Right.
He has tattoos everywhere. Post Malone, another individual. Radical humans that are just, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jelly Roll gets up, huge dude, gets up the first time he gets the mic. He's like, let's freaking go. And he talks about God openly. He comes out of jail. He's just like, I know one way to live, bro. And that's to freaking send it. Why? Because I've been locked up and now I can fly and nobody's stopping me.
Yeah.
Another one. There's a DJ Khaled. Such a crazy mother,
funny.
dude. He's sitting in a conversation like this. And he takes over the conversation. He's like, let me ask. He literally says this. Ask me this question. And bro, I'm like sitting there. The dude looks like he's wearing the neighborhood drapes, right? Yeah. I mean, it's just radical clothing. If he's wearing a shirt, by the way.
Sure.
And the lady's like, okay, what should I ask you? He's like, ask me if I'm crazy. And she does. And he's like, absolutely, I'm crazy. It's when you realize, like, this is me, man. It's when you realize you don't have to be what everyone expects you. Oprah Winfrey, another example. She's sitting in an interview, and the interviewer says, yeah, people say you're full of yourself. Oprah, what do you say? And she sits down and collects herself, having lived. And I mean, I don't agree with everything she says, but she's living an iconic life, man.
Right.
She's a mover. She's an influencer for such good. And she answers this. What would they have me think? Would they want me to be empty of myself instead of full of myself? Once we realize that Jesus, the man, Jesus, the Christ, also stood up in front of the kings of his area, and when asked the last question, I will set you free if you denounce everything you said, just say the word. And in that moment, knowing who he was, he looks at the king of his area who has the opportunity to control his life, so he thinks, and he says, I'm the King of Kings. I'm the Lord of Lords. Like when you understand who you are and you have an inner peace, like confidence, to almost like a genuine swagger of being you, and then you do it for a higher purpose, this like so intentional. Like I'm 42 years old, and the quickest thing I look for in anybody is like, what's their intention? Like good, bad, in between. What is their intention in this relationship? Because then I can quickly find out and decide like how I want to show up.
Yeah.
Right. That's when life gets just like rad, dude. In my own life, I've learned that. I've learned that as I've learned who I am, as I've decided to let him be a part of my life, him meaning God, Jesus, and let go a little bit. And dude, I always heard this, like I was always like this, right?
White knuckling life.
Dude, white knuckling the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Because like I could control it, bro.
Yeah.
I couldn't control Crouzon Syndrome.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I freaking love this. Like, like it was like I was a monster truck driver that like everything, right? But just even recently, bro, like I've stopped making myself do everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've allowed like teams to come into my life. And as long as they're teams and people with the right intention, and then I show up with, you know, the right ego and intention, it's that no limit.
Right.
Like, dude, like no limit. I'll say this last thing on this point. So I have a buddy. His name's Bridger. He's a high level mental coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit down with him and I'm nervous. And we have lunch. He's like, bro, I can see you're nervous. I'm like, stop seeing my soul. You know? He said, what's going on? I said, dude, I'm stressed out. I feel like I'm barely like above the water, man. He said, what's up? I said, this film's coming out and I think I'm going to get more attention than what I've had in my life. And I'm afraid I'm not ready. I'm afraid I'm going to get in the way.
Yeah.
And the nicest way, this is what he said. How dare you, man? He's like, how dare you think you're big enough to get in God's way?
Mm-hmm.
Bro.
Yeah.
He's like, you think God won't accomplish what he's going to accomplish because you're in his way?
Right.
I'm here thinking I'm like David going against Goliath. Like, I'm going to kill this thing, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, maybe you need to step out of your own way, bro, because you ain't in God's way.
Right. Right.
And he's like, maybe you just need to realize that you can show up and be totally jacked up and he's going to do what he's going to do. And if you're really jacked up, it might not be through you.
Right. Right.
But most of the time, he deals with jacked up people.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you're like, if you're listening to this, the millions of people that you impact, bro, every day, I just hope they know that it doesn't matter if it's whether it's the depression or the Crouzon syndrome or the curse in their life, or it's the drug addiction. It's my dear friend the other day that cut himself 30 times the day before. They are still freaking radically dangerous for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And the more broken they are, the more dangerous for the right reasons they often are. Why? Because it's the empathy they have. It's the allowability to connect. Why? Because I see pain too.
Yeah.
And though I don't meet that many people with Crouzon syndrome and like cauliflower ear and both of them combined,
Right. Right.
I understand pain, dude.
Yeah.
And you went through things growing up that you're like, yeah, I see you. I hear you. And I'm going to love you. And I just really hope that everybody listening to this knows that, like, you're way freaking more than enough now.
Yeah.
Not after the addiction. Yeah, you may have more clarity.
Right.
You may be more healthy. But does that mean you're not enough? No, bro. God hung out with the hookers. He hung out with the people that were unclean. He was the stone catcher, not the stone thrower.
Right.
I get to show up like that more.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really important reminder that, like, your enoughness,
Yeah.
if you want to call it, was there from day one. And there's nothing you can do to change that, you know? Just a couple questions, we'll wrap up. I just want to hear a little bit more about this film, how it came to be, what is the purpose of it,
Yeah.
what's the story? Is it more of a documentary? Is it more of a biopic?
Yeah, good questions. So I got a call 4 years ago, and and there's these radical people that decided that they want to do a film, and there was a guy I knew in high school, and his dad is a guy named T.C. Christensen, and he's done a lot of cool films like Fighting Preacher, Cult Film Miracle, 17 Miracles, like Escape from Germany, all these cool films. And then he had a friend named Jared Hess is his name, who did Napoleon Dynamite, Nacho Libre, and just came out with Minecraft movie. And he said, Ben, this is my first film I'm going to be directing. And I'll never forget a moment in my life where you were playing basketball in junior jazz when I was in elementary. And my dad reached over to me and he pointed at you, Ben. He said, that kid's going to be a movie one day. He's like, I'm just glad you're not a serial killer, because that would have been a different movie.
Yeah.
But he said, are you open to it? And I had people approach me before, but this one felt right.
Yeah.
So we went all in. 4 years later, we're about to hit theaters in Utah and Idaho and Arizona. I mean, we hit theaters January 23rd. If people go to standoutfilm.com, they can get tickets. A lot of people, they're like, how do we know where it's at? Well, standoutfilm.com has it all on a map. There's a lot of real videos. So it's a 99-minute full feature film, but it's a documentary based too.
Gotcha.
We've been able to recreate stuff too, though, with like we were able to find a kid who looked just like me, and that was a God-driven thing in and of itself. We searched all over the world. Weeks before filming, a family reached out to me that lived 20 minutes away from me. And when I told them, when I came into their home for dinner, they invited us over. The mom got emotional and looked at the husband and said, I knew this happened for a reason. I'm like, oh no. I'm sorry if you don't want to do this, or if because a lot of kids don't, especially with differences, they don't want to feel like they want to display themselves to the world.
Sure.
It's painful, especially go read the comments, right?
Yeah.
On any of my social media from today. Go read it.
Right.
And then she said this as she looked at her husband. She looked back at me and she's like, my kid, Colton, is 5 years old. We've been trying to get him surgery for months. And from one thing led to the next, we could never do it. And we always said, why me? Like, come on, this is a good thing. My boy needs it. And God was in the way, but he was directing the way. Because of this film, right after the filming was done for his part, he went into surgery. Doesn't look the same. Yeah. What's the film about? It's about my life from a young age. And the coolest thing was one of my producers woke up one morning and he said, I had a dream. It's something about Ben and water. And so he started researching into what that meant. And in the Bible, he reads about a story about the waters of Bethesda. And in this story, there's a heavenly messenger that would come and touch the water. And it was known in this area that that water would then heal people. After the rippling of the water, if this heavenly messenger moved this water, the people that would touch it after would be healed. And it's my life story of me sitting next to this water, in theory, waiting to be healed. This victim mindset of me sitting there being like, okay, God, you want to heal me or what? I'm going to sit here and wait. And then it depicts through this storytelling so well done by Tanner and TC and Jared of how my heavenly messengers in my life, my mom, my dad, my coaches, my loved ones, my wife, would move the water for me. And then near the end, I'm giving away a little bit, but near the end, how I just send it. And I'm like, ain't nobody need to move the water anymore. I'm jumping in.
Yeah.
In life, we sit by this water waiting for other people to call our shot, waiting for other people to tell us what to do, waiting for them to say, this is your limit, waiting for other people to say, now's the time, waiting for other people to say, you're meant for this. But what if we like knew that? What if we got up and jumped in and says, who's coming with me, baby?
Yeah.
The film's about that. The film is not meant for 5-year-olds. It's not meant for 95-year-olds. It's meant for everybody. And it's humbling to know that so many people from every demographic from where we've shown it has been, I've gotten messages from every age group. And that's the hardest thing. Do you build something that's a cartoon for Disney, right? Or
Right.
do you do like a mature film? And these guys have done such a I couldn't be more proud of it. They've done such a radical job to hit every genre. It's funny. I mean, you have the people of Napoleon Dynamite, Jared, who's helped with this. And it's get your tissues ready because you're going to cry.
Yeah.
And I'll say this last thing. I showed up for a screening the other night, a private screening. And this guy who's about 65 years old, at the end, if you go see the film, the credits will be rolling. Well, the film's not over. Don't get up and leave because it's still going. Well, this guy gets up and he goes to, I'm literally like where you walk out of the theater. I'm standing right there because I do a Q&A after. And this guy gets up and I think he thinks it's over. And he sees me in the shadows of this hallway and he realizes it's me and he puts a shoulder on me. And he's like snot bubbling crying. And he reaches over and he just hugs me. And I hold him there for a few seconds. And he's trembling. And he says, and he comes back and he says, thank you. He's like, I got to go clean myself up. And as he walks out, I'm like, bro, it's not over yet. You're going to miss one of the best parts.
Yeah.
There's a moment at the very end that it captures everything. And this is something way bigger than me. And I'm just like humbled to like share it.
Yeah.
It's freaking scary too.
Yeah.
Because you never know who's going to occupy the seat. So if everyone asks, well, what can I do? Here's what you can do. If you feel like any of this rings home to you, and if any of this resonates, I would just ask them to go to standoutfilm.com. And there's a couple ways to help this cause. The opening weekend, show up. The entire industry is based off of results on the opening weekend, and
Right.
they say that's like the first wave.
Yeah.
Secondly, share it with others. And then thirdly, if you have the opportunity and want to see this go nationwide to other people, like we've had the country of Peru reach out to us and heard about this. And they're like, when's it going to be in Spanish?
Yeah.
And we're like, I don't know.
Right.
It takes money and stuff. We've had a plastic surgeon, Devin, who's come over and said, I've looked for something like this forever. Everybody who has a facial difference needs to see this once, and everyone who's not needs to see it twice.
Yeah.
And that was funny. And he said, I have a 501c3 nonprofit that every bit of this is about our mission. So everybody who donates to your film through our foundation called Utah Smiles, they're going to put all towards getting this on screens across America. So people around the world, if they want to be a part of this or see this grow, and they see the trailer or they see any part of it, if they're like, this is something I want to be a part of, well, go and watch it. And then if it moves you, then and you want to see it go further, then there's an opportunity to get everything tax deductible, right, through a 501c3, and they can be a part of the journey with us.
That's awesome, dude. I can't wait to see it. I'm excited. It's, for me, film is one of those mediums that can really carry a message with you for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
It can be so powerful because it's not just a 30-second video that you're
Yeah.
scrolling through and you forget 10 minutes later. It's like, it can be really impactful. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's a little bit of imposter syndrome that's come through, or are you
Oh yeah, like
past that?
100%.
Oh, just 100%. Okay.
Yeah, it was. I've learned a little along the journey. A year ago, we were in Hollywood, and my dear friend, his name's Ashton Buswell, was in California, and he drove up the road. He lives in San Diego. He brought his whole family up to Hollywood to watch this world premiere in this film festival. And he took a picture. I couldn't even sit down, dude. I was at the back of the room, and I'm so grateful he took this picture, because I'm standing in the back of the room and just watching everybody. And I'm watching this film on this like dinky screen up front. And I'm like, what are they going to think? Like, it isn't about another life, dude. It's not about a cartoon character. This is about me.
Mm-hmm.
Am I enough?
Yeah.
And I measure up. And then you sit back. And just like my speaking engagements, it's the favorite part isn't when I'm watching the film. It's not when I'm on stage. It's if I do my job and I follow what I'm supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I deliver what I feel like I need to deliver, then you hear some really cool things after.
Yeah.
Like we did a screening the other night, and the movie got over at probably 8:00. I left the theater about 10:30. Just marinating in people. You know it, bro. This right here, this podcast is that for you. It's your legacy. It's your living scripture. This is a living document that's incredible. And it's rad because people come to you. I already know it. And they direct message you. And they call you. And they write you. And they're like, bro, podcast 103. Thank you. And I know you get messages like that on a weekly, if not a daily basis. And if I can hear one message from like a Colton or a Ben in that audience, that's like, bro, you must have done this film for me. Thank you for keeping me in mind, because it hit home.
Yeah.
Then that's enough, man.
Well, dude, I'm just imagining, I'm getting emotional thinking about it for no good reason. I'm imagining people being really moved by this film that have absolutely no deformities, no facial anything, but they just don't feel pretty. They don't feel attractive. They don't feel seen. They don't feel popular. They don't whatever. And just being so touched by it. And so that's what's really exciting. Yes, there will be people that have your same syndrome and maybe some similar ones that are really touched, and it moves them because they feel seen. But I'm sure people that you would never expect to be moved by this film will be. And that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on. I know this was the 4th podcast you did today, so I appreciate you hanging in there. And I mean, it doesn't sound like you've been on 4 podcasts. You just sound like you're fresh as.
You do a great job.
Thanks,
I appreciate
man.
you, dude. I'm serious. You've done a great job, and I know you're a world impactor because of how you show up. So thanks for being a lighthouse in this world of crazy waters, dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah, dude, I look forward to watching the film and keeping in touch.
God bless you, brother.
Okay, you too, man.